sitting there thinking Sunday, they don't have joint practice till Wednesday with the Houston Texans. I think I'm going to relax today. You know what Mike McDaniel said? Nope. What is up, Finn fans? Yes, today was an impromptu practice by the Miami Dolphins. Essentially, Mike McDaniel said that he didn't want to wait 4 days for, and maybe more, for some to not practice before the next day of practice, which I think might be tomorrow. Because he did say he doesn't want people to go 4 days without practicing, which means that being Wednesday was the last day of practice for them. Maybe tomorrow they're back in practice. I don't know. I don't know anything anymore. All I know is when I see there's practice, I do my notes, I collect the information, I get the videos, and I bring it to you. And that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna break down practice, day 12 of training camp. Impromptu. But before we jump into that, I do have to shout out today's sponsor, and you know about this sponsor because they are my sponsor for most of training camp, and that's Clean the World. Great organization. Sean Seipler put this together. I talk about it constantly. I talk about the kits that he's putting together. Essentially, what he did, soap, you go to the hotel, there's like a little sliver of soap left. You're like, I don't need that anymore. He reconstituted that. He cleaned it all up, and he made it into bars of soap, and he gives this stuff to people in third world countries, natural disasters, the homeless, people that need it. And now he's putting these kits together where you get toothpaste, soap, socks, shampoo, a toothbrush, and a card that people can leave notes of encouragement to these people that are in tough situations. So give Sean your support and Clean the World, and click the link in the description and check it out. So now we're going to jump into what happened today. So first and foremost, the Miami Dolphins made some moves. The Dolphins signed wide receiver Kiki Cody and defensive back Jamal Perry. We all know about Jamal Perry. And they've waived cornerback Mark Gilbert, who they brought in I think a week ago, and wide receiver Freddie Swan. So essentially they just kind of brought two in, took two out. The same positions and everything. You weren't really working. We need to try these guys out and see how this guy works, and yada, yada, bing, bang, bing. It's a bottom of the roster move. Nothing crazy, nothing to, call home about. There's that. Now we'll get to Mike McDaniel's press conference. So he talks about Cam Smith, and he says it doesn't figure to be a long-term injury. He says it's a little gray right now. It depends on what's going on with his treatment. But he says that the injury is nothing serious and won't put him out for long term. So from my opinion, what that means is shut him down for preseason. Same thing with Jalen Waddle. Shut him down for preseason. We don't need to see him. He says Braxton Berrios got stitches on his forehead. He'll be back with those heal when those heal. So he's not getting them opened by the helmet coming off. So he will be out for a little bit until those stitches heal in his forehead. That's probably from the big hit he took in the preseason game. He said McDaniel said they're protecting Waddle from himself. Again, more than anything, Waddle is already moving around. Coach says exact timeline is unclear. You're not going to see him in preseason at all. You're not going to see him. Monumental in the term coach used when asked about what the production of Eric Ezukanma and Channing Tindall meant about their year 2 growth. We saw a lot from Eric. I want to see more. And Channing Tindall had a sack, so keep going. Coach praises the way Austin Jackson responded to adversity Friday night, says he was very pleased by his performance. He wasn't bad. Liam Eichenberg was bad. He wasn't bad. It was pretty good. Coach says the locker room is a great litmus test to decide starting jobs. Interesting. Says you can get the pulse, verbal and nonverbal, of how guys feel, and that can often tell you who's the best man for the job will be. I find that very interesting that he kind of takes the pulse of the locker room. Not too interesting because obviously your locker room dynamic and all that stuff is very important, but to really dictate the starting job, I find this interesting. Now we got some highlights from camp. The Dolphins initially were scheduled to practice Sunday. Weren't initially, because today is Sunday, dog. Weren't initially scheduled to practice Sunday, but head coach Mike McDaniel said there was a rethink because he didn't want the players kept out of preseason opener to go 4 straight days without practice. So they won't practice till Wednesday. Yeah. No. They'll practice tomorrow. See why I'm confused? He doesn't want the guys who didn't play in the preseason opener to go 4 days without practice. 4 days straight without practice, which means they're going to practice tomorrow. Because the last practice was Wednesday, and then you got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then they're going to practice tomorrow. So I think there's practice tomorrow. Confusion. The team practiced inside the bubble. Again, there was no fans. There won't be fans until the joint practice, but at Houston. And then there won't be open until the Miami Dolphin fans until the 23rd next Thursday. Start off with attendance check. They said that Cam Smith, obviously not there. Jalen Waddle, Alec Ingold, Braylon Sanders, Myles Gaskin, Dan Feeney, Jalen Ramsey, Keon Crossan, and Brandon Jones did not practice. The fact that Myles Gaskin didn't practice, I don't like the way that these running backs are getting dinged up. It's making me nervous. Armstead did work with the offensive line, but did not practice in team periods. For the second consecutive practice, nobody wore an orange jersey. McDaniel explained that there was no orange jersey for the second joint practice with Atlanta so as to not put a bullseye on a player who would have been deemed to have the better of the Falcons. Oh, that makes a ton of sense. But then why not in the second? Why not this practice? Robbie Chosen, who McDaniel said was kept out of the preseason opener because of some injury issues, was a full participant in practice. Rookie cornerback Ethan Bonner also back in action. Good to hear that. Bad day by Tua. And he threw 3 interceptions, right? After sitting out the preseason opener against Atlanta, quarterback Tua Tagovailoa took every snap in teamwork. Good. Including a late situation in red zone in practice, and did not have a good outing, to put it very politely. Tua threw 3 interceptions, caught by Noah, Javon, and Deshaun Elliott, and was off target than he normally is. Noah had his second interception against Tua in practice in 8 days when he jumped a route near the left side and stepped in front of Cedric Wilson Jr. for what likely would have been a pick 6 in a game situation. Wilson also was the intended receiver on the 3rd interception, a pass in the end zone that was thrown behind the receiver and deflected right into the hands of Elliott. Gotta do better. So, I understand it's training camp, and I talk about it all the time that, we're not going to blow this out of proportion that he threw 3 interceptions, because last year I think one day of practice he threw like 5. Who cares? This is where you got to work on it. You got to do better, because I hope he plays on Saturday. And if he plays on Saturday, we need to see a touchdown drive, because we didn't get one. Wilson did have a spectacular one-handed catch in the back of the end zone that was highlighted on the team's social media. I will show you that video, though it did come on a play where Tua would have been sacked in the game situation. The pick by Holland came when he stepped in front of Tyreek Hill on a deep pass down the middle of the field. Tua did have 3 short touchdown passes in red zone work, one to Jeff Wilson, and a nice throw over the middle to Hill, and the last to tight end Durham Smythe. Tua's best pass of the day was a strike down the middle to rookie tight end Julian Hill that would have been good for 30 yards. So he made some good plays, but it was completely covered up by the crap, by the 3 interceptions and him being off on some passes, right? Bad day. Bad day by Tua. Bounce back tomorrow. Have a better day. Media members who've been so longing forward to the new cornerback Eli Apple covering Hill, given their prior social media exchange and Hill's playful trash talking after Apple arrived, got their wish, because Apple was covering Hill, and I got the video of that. The first such matchup came with the offense near the goal line, and Apple won that rep after getting right in Hill's face at the line, closely guarding him before Tua completed a pass to Wilson on the other half of the field. Hill came back with a touchdown catch on a nice back shoulder throw by Tua, despite tight coverage by Apple. Also caught another pass against Apple in the open field near the sideline. Hill also had a nice low catch in the middle of the field against a different defender. Apple later came back with a pass breakup against Eric Izukoma. And then we got some defensive highlights. Channing Tindall followed up with his active preseason opener by knocking away a pass in the middle of the field from Tua. The defense again had its share of would-be sacks, with Bradley Chubb, Raekwon Davis, Jalen Phillips, and Malik Reed also getting to Tua. Reed was very active in the pass rushing department and had another pressure on a play where Jalen Twanman tackled Devon Achane for a loss. The last play of practice, fittingly enough, featured a pass breakup in the back of the end zone with Xavier Howard knocking away before it got to Hill. And that is kind of your synopsis of what happened today. It was a bad day by Tua, but you also have to take into consideration he practiced the entire day. That's not an excuse, but he practiced the entire day. He was the only quarterback practicing. He needed the work, though, because he hasn't practiced in 3 days, whereas the other two guys played 2 halves of football. Bad day. He was off on some passes, had some nice throws, which we'll look at, but he's got to do better. He can't be throwing those interceptions. You know, we saw it on Friday, where we marched down the field, interception. Marched down the field, turnover on downs. Marched down the field, turnover on downs. We could have had 3 touchdowns. 3 separate touchdowns. And we got nothing. And then Skyler comes in, and it's fumble, interception, and it was too bad of a play by the quarterbacks, and then Tua has a bad day today. They got to bounce back. I will show you guys the touchdown pass. This is Eli Apple covering Tyreek Hill. That's a nice throw. That's just as a defender, you're playing Tyreek, right? He's on him. He's playing him, looking back at the quarterback. He's playing him. It's just a good throw. You're going to throw it here, back shoulder. That ball's already out. It's a good touchdown. Good pass, good touchdown. Good play by Tyreek. And then we have this one here where Tua rolls out, gets it to Cedric Wilson. But it was said to have been a sack. That's a nice catch, though. Does he get his feet in? Got it pinned? Yeah, he got his feet in. It's a good play. Good play. But that's what I got for you today. Again, it was closed off to you guys, so there wasn't that much in-depth breakdown of play-by-play, but we did get some understanding. It was a bad day by offense. It was a bad day by Tua. Good day by the defense. Got a ton of sacks, all that stuff. But again, not much in-depth stuff because you guys weren't there, so they just kind of kept it minimalistic. And then especially after the media is there, like after I think the 24th, they'll probably start really doing plays that they don't want anyone to see. Because again, preseason's about vanilla stuff. Preseason's about getting your guys warmed up. That's what probably Saturday will be. The starters will play for a little bit, get them warmed up, and then first day of first preseason, third preseason's about getting your rookies acclimated and finding who's going to make the roster. That's essentially what preseason's about. I was going to do a film breakdown of Friday's game, but it's preseason. I know there's this whole debate about Skylar Thompson and Mike White versus Tua. Tua would have done horrible in these games and yada yada. That's not the point. Me making my observation about what happened on the field has nothing to do with, Tua would have done better. Never did I say that, nor am I, thinking it. It's more about just assessing what I'm seeing. And the fact that I'm saying that it worries me is because I still have my reservations if Tua can stay healthy. I don't want what happened last year to happen again, where Tua gets banged up and we win 1 game without him. That's going to suck. So and especially like the offensive line and stuff. You know, there was a lot of good plays here and there on the offensive line. And I thought of doing a film breakdown, but again, it's preseason. Like, I'll say this. Do you guys seriously want me to do a film breakdown of the preseason games? If you do, and I'll check the comments, right? If there's like an astounding yes, do a film breakdown, like you guys are that interested in Friday's preseason game, I'll do one tonight and I'll release it tomorrow. But if most of you guys are like, nah, it's preseason, don't worry about it, we'll do the film breakdowns during the regular season, then I won't. Let me know in the comment section. But regardless, I'll see you tomorrow because I'm pretty sure from what I'm picking up, they're going to have practice tomorrow. So we'll get camp day 13 tomorrow. But comment below. Let me know. Let me know what you thought of camp. Let me know what you think of everything talked about in this video. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Like usual, stay classy and fans out.